Salmon almost PB'd by like 40 seconds and then 2D skip. Oh, that's hurtful.
Yeah. 2D skip is a bit of a pain in the booty, but we do got SpeZy versus Red Lunatic starting up right here, right now. Should be a pretty hot one. I believe this is Group H. You got a lot of groups in this tournament. There's a lot of entrants.
Well, it's an open. Everybody clamoring to get in on the Super Mario any percent open action. Sarah, can we maybe talk a little bit about what are going to be some of the major skips we're going to see in this race? What are some major, I was going to say tools, but major moments that these races can change?
Yeah, I mean, so we were talking about this a little bit last race in the sense that, you know, Super Mario any percent is kind of a really honest speedrunning category. You don't have a lot of major skips in it. Obviously, you have some small ones, like in Wooded Kingdom. You can skip, you can use the nut to clip out of bounds and skip some movement, get some interesting routing going. You also have stuff like Spiritless in both Wooded and Luncheon and Fish Clip, that sort of thing. But everything's saving, you know, just some seconds. You don't really have any, you know, sort of things where you can skip entire stages or anything like that. You can have to go through the paces with SMO.
So you say it's more skill based than it is technical understanding of the game based.
Yeah, well, I mean, even when it comes to really heavily glitched categories, you know, you have an entirely different set of skills that you need in order to achieve.
That's fair. That's fair. Yeah, I don't want to say that getting glitches is difficult. Oh, Red Lunatic bonking, going for that left side.
Yeah, definitely a solid performance from both so far in this Cap Kingdom. Unfortunately, as you said, Red Lunatic having a bit of issues on that left side, but does happen.
Able to defeat this first Brutal. A tough opponent. This little leprechaun-looking guy. He's out for blood. But both runners able to defeat him with ease.
His name is Topper.
Topper. I gotta learn these Brutals names, man.
And you got Topper,
I got Leprechaun
Rango.
guy. I got
Okay.
Dixie Kong.
Yeah. Yep, Dixie Kong. What are the other ones? That's a good.
Mother-in-law. And then they all get together and have a pizza party and a robot.
Yes. We did miss two, and I think all the names were wrong, but I mean, that was pretty good. Pretty close.
Okay. We got him. Red Lunatic now launching Chain Chomp at a rock. Both getting this first moon here. Mario looks excited.
Mario's always looking pretty excited. One skip that's interesting that is not possible in this version, but used to be possible, is right here. You used to be able to skip this entire sequence and just jump right over this river. But Nintendo, you know, they don't want any glitches in their speed game. They don't want any fancy schmancy stuff going on, so
No.
they got rid of that. And the reason why we don't any longer do that is because 1.3 is insanely faster in terms of loading. They optimize the way the Switch loads all the worlds, so it just saves so much time that even with all the skips and stuff possible in 1.0, they're just not worth it.
What are your thoughts on that? Would you like to see more games have that kind of optimization pumped into it if it meant less tricksy little glitches like that?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's, you know, I don't know. I'm the kind of person who's like, I think the developers should do whatever they want. Like, I don't think that developers should necessarily plan around speedrunning in their game, unless they're, I guess, specifically making the game to be a speedrunning game, but yeah, I don't know. I'm not too fussed either way. Like, if you want to run 1.0, you can still run 1.0 and compare your times versus 1.0 times. So if you want to play with the glitches, you can. If you don't, 1.3 is faster anyways, so.
You're not one of those folks who took all the time to learn how to skip the first Power Moon only to say, oh, these new kids and they're coming in and they don't have any glitches to learn. Yeah, that's how old people talk, by the way.
I'm terrible at this game, so I definitely don't know all the tricks in this game. But even if I was, you know, I probably wouldn't care that much. I don't think there's really anybody in the community that's really like that. I think most people pretty much embraced 1.3. It was like, oh, free time save. Oh, I don't.
That's great. That's 100% how it should be. Both racers now hopping over for the final moon of the Cascade Kingdom. Red Lunatic, just a couple of little bonks. Meanwhile, SpeZy on the way out of here, powering up the sails to the Odyssey, ready to soar into space.
Yeah, we'll be throwing a prediction down in chat, so if you want to show some support for the runners, do make sure you throw that in there. Would be much appreciated. Definitely like to, you know, promote the gambling of channel points in here. It's very high stakes. GSA channel points, probably the most, like, worthwhile currency to have in your portfolio, I would have to say.
Yeah, mine those channel points. Get those numbers looking good. I always support an underdog, so I threw it down for Red Lunatic, but also looking for, I'm sorry, is it SpeZy?
Yeah, SpeZy.
SpeZy. I'm just looking for a good race, you know? Whoever is ahead in the moment, I'm going to root against. That's my new philosophy.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I mean, that's typically my stance when I'm doing commentary. The only time that ever changes is if we're on fat PB pace, you kind of just have to root for the person on PB pace. You can't root against someone on PB pace. That's illegal. That's against the rules.
Yeah, no. I've read the speedrunning bylaws. I know how this works. Red Lunatic here going for daylight savings time abuse through a nut into a pot. And both runners in the Cap Kingdom, and by Cap Kingdom I of course mean Sand Kingdom, in the Sand Kingdom, collecting those moons. SpeZy, it doesn't look like he's going for daylight savings time abuse.
No, they're both going for it. Oh, no, sorry. SpeZy, you're right. It's not going for daylight savings time abuse. Yeah, I'm just, you know, talking about nothing. Don't listen to me. Okay. I'm the noob here.
No. You just riff, brother. I do feel uncomfortable the idea of Mario simply running into a store, employees only access, and stealing their power moons. You don't like that to happen. What moon do you think SpeZy is going to get to replace that powered up plant moon?
That is a fantastic question. I think you get in the Oasis at the end, you just get some extra moons.
Maybe capture a fisherman lack YouTube.
I don't know. I mean, it depends. There's some different stuff you can do. I mean, some runners will go for Sphinx. Some runners will go for like Trash Moon and stuff. I mean, it really depends.
SpeZy looking good.
It's been so long since I've watched like non-DSTA routes. It's like had to think about like what I do in runs. For me, I go for Sphinx and I go for the Trash Moon, and I think that's adequate replacements. But and I skip notes. And yeah, we're gonna be getting this one here.
Here we go. SpeZy sneaking under the sand.
Yeah, this is like the intermediate upgraded sand route here, so not gonna be doing Sphinx here. I don't believe, unless SpeZy wants to prove me wrong. But yeah, it looks like we're gonna be heading back over. So probably gonna be doing the same moons I was describing, but then also doing the Notes moon at the end. So with the beginner route, you grab the Sphinx instead of the Notes moon, but yeah, we'll just have to see. It's hard to speculate what runners are gonna do and what they're not gonna do.
Yeah, I like this freeform version of it. It's improvisational. It's like listening to jazz.
Yeah, Red Lunatic not capturing the bullet bill there, instead going to be jumping on its head, which is not what you like to see, but will work. Okay, reverse Jaxi from SpeZy. All right, this is definitely not something you typically see in a DSTA-less route in Sand, but I mean, here we go. What we're going to do because we're SpeZy.
I'm into it. I've never seen that reverse side Jaxi skip.
Yeah, it's...
And now coming back this way from moons? Ooh, baby.
Yeah, it's a bit different. Typically, you'll only see it in like high-level runs. It's typically considered to be a pretty difficult strat, but more and more runners are running it in. I mean, SpeZy with a 102.58 doing reverse Jaxi, kind of cracked.
I did have a little bit of trouble with that magic block up on the top of the castle. The bullet bill blew it open, and SpeZy took a spill, but he's back on track, getting that cactus moon. Still just a couple of seconds ahead of Red Lunatic.
Yeah, and I mean, SpeZy is kind of nailing it here in Sand Kingdom. I mean, Red Lunatic going for that DSTA, but SpeZy still in the lead here, both having the same 2 moons to collect.
Absolutely, but yeah, Red Lunatic will be able to skip 1 moon in this Oasis, is that right?
No, they're both doing the same ones, because...
same ones.
So, yeah, so SpeZy... What I was saying before is, like, if you go for Sphinx Moon, you're going to be skipping the Notes Moon, but otherwise, going for the Notes Rune. It's just runner preference. SpeZy going for a quite different route, though.
Ooh, SpeZy in the chat saying he came up with this route just today. So we're on the cutting edge here, Saren. We are looking at the frontier of Mario Odyssey any % speedruns.
Yeah, it's always interesting to see what runners consider faster or slower for their own skills, what moons they go for. Of course, at the very highest level, you're doing crazy stuff like Reverse Town, and not going to happen probably in any of the B Division matches. Probably very few of the A matches either, if any. Might not even see that strat until the league happens, which should be pretty hype. I mean, we're going to have a lot of pretty epic gamers in that league once the roster is finalized.
Exciting. And Reverse Town, that is the Snow Kingdom route, is that right?
That's in Sand.
In Sand? Oh, okay. There's a lot of towns in Mario Odyssey. He's going on an adventure, and he is meeting a lot of different folks in a lot of different towns.
Yes. Some might say he's going on an Odyssey.
It's been said. Let me ask you this, Saren. Are there any strats that you know in your head are faster, but just don't seem like they could possibly be faster?
I mean, I'm not the absolute expert on cutting-edge Mario strats in this game in particular, so perhaps someone in the chat can maybe throw out some insane gamer strats. But here's one insane gamer strat, which is late clip, coming out from SpeZy, absolutely nailing it here. Very impressive.
Got it. That's one that feels like it should be slower, because you can just piece out the other way with that quick little cheap sheet man, but absolutely, SpeZy with a beautiful late clip. Not gonna have to fight the boss. I guess that's the big time difference. All of those cutscenes.
Oh yeah, the cutscenes add up. That's what a lot of these routes, like the more advanced Kingdom routes, end up cutting out is a lot of cutscene time. So like Spiritless stuff, a lot of times is a lot of cutting out multi-moons and all sorts of other cutscenes. Whereas, like in Wooded, for example, when you do Spiritless, after you beat Spirit and you come back down, there's like a cutscene that plays next to the Odyssey that you have to watch, even after the multi-moon cutscene. Whereas in Spiritless route, you don't want to watch that cutscene. So
that's the dream.
We don't like lore in
Lunatic. No, I don't like lore in video games in general. Get out of here.
Sad.
Let me push buttons. Red Lunatic just took down the lankiest of all Brutals. His name, of course, Philip, I've decided.
Yeah, Philip getting knocked out.
I had a friend growing up named Philip who was very tall and lanky, and so there it is, folks. That's his name now.
Yeah, but you can see here, I mean, they both grabbed those moons, the multi-moon and the single moon at the same time. But SpeZy here already globing watching this cutscene, while Red Lunatic just now flopping down next to the Odyssey, gonna have to, stand around for a little bit. But
this is something you see a lot in football when something really exciting happens. The team tends to be like too celebratory, and it kind of costs them time. Mario just earned a triple moon. He's of course excited. He's pumped up, so he's taking his time getting back to the Odyssey. He's taking his time to globe.
Yeah, you got to get that over-enthusiastic celebration for sure. Very important. All right,
Both runners now moving on to the Wooded Kingdom, a high-variance kingdom.
Yeah, another kingdom where you can have a lot of route differences here. For sure, we will see what each runner tends to go for. I would expect a nut clip out of SpeZy. I'm not so sure about Red. I should know by now. Red, another one of those runners that enters a lot of tournaments, so should have a little bit more of a dial on Red's routing, but there's so many runners in this game. It is hard to keep track of what every specific runner does and who's updating what. And
absolutely. SpeZy here, putting the coins down, money where his mouth is, collecting another Power Moon. Red Lunatic just a few seconds behind.
Yeah, it looks like...
I think I've said this every... Go ahead, sorry.
Looks like currently SpeZy's sitting about minus 18 on Red Lunatic at this point, so it's still a fairly close race at this point, and it's kind of what you would expect with a 104 at 35 versus a 102.58, and SpeZy fell a bit on the tree route, unfortunately. It's tough.
I was asking Ganon this yesterday. Sarah, any thoughts on what kind of animal this creature is that Mario captures in the Wooden Kingdom?
It's an onion. Some people will say a turnip. I've heard watermelon before, but it's most certainly an onion.
It's the leg part that throws me.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't think any vegetable technically has legs, so...
I agree. But if there was like a grape that came with a long... Like, grapes have a long stem, right? They come on that long stem and then they're kind of dangling. I could kind of see the logic, but...
Yeah, SpeZy got stuck there, so I had to warp back to the Odyssey, unfortunately.
Ooh.
That's not what you like to see, but Red as well having some trouble here on this routing. Unfortunate, unable to get up on top of the factory here. Does finally clear that railing.
Makes it.
But SpeZy cutting the lead a little bit here.
I missed Red Lunatic specifically. Did he go for the nut clip?
That was a fantastic question. I don't believe so.
Okay.
We do not have enough moons.
Risked a lot, lost it all. Had to warp back to the Odyssey. Hearing from Lit Potato in the chat, it sounds like he did. It sounds like
okay. So he went for nut clip, but he didn't go for tree route. All right.
Got it. So now working his way back out of the onion maze. Red Lunatic destroys that piranha plant. Ugh, the guy didn't even have a chance.
Yeah, it's always interesting to see how speedrunners deal with bosses in video games. I mean, the developers, you know, they balance the bosses around casual players, and they're like, oh man, this will be a challenging thing for someone to beat, and they're gonna have to, you know, throw the hat at the piranha plant, and the piranha plant's gonna grab it, and then it's gonna jump on his head. But speedrunner's just like, yeah, I'm just gonna do a really fast triple jump to him in the face, and then just move on. Not even grab.
Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna show this piranha plant that I do not respect him. I'm gonna hop on him, and I'm gonna move on with my life.
Yep, SpeZy skipping right over that piranha plant.
Wow.
As we have done the tree route. Very nice FRS. But Red Lunatic
These runners
right
are
behind.
pretty close right now.
Yep.
Unclear how much route differences are making a difference, but they have the same number of moons at the moment.
Yep.
And very close to a sync.
Yep, the routes are synced up at this point, so SpeZy and Red are pretty much tied up. We could see some more variation later on as we climb this tower here. We're going to be collecting a couple moons, one inside this nut, and then one all the way up at the top. And then afterwards, we either have to choose to fight Spirit or to skip him. Fighting Spirit quite a bit easier.
SpeZy.
Pretty much.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Pretty much a gimme boss fight, but skipping over Spirit, not watching the cutscenes, does save some time. So we'll see what these players go for.
SpeZy taking the leap.
Yep. So we'll see how the movement goes. So far, looking pretty clean. Red opting to go for the Spirit fight, but SpeZy taking a block on the wall, not quite connecting with the moon, unfortunately.
Red Lunatic hopping over this Brutal with his cute little hat. He looks like a prim and proper little boy dressed up for Easter. And that's not even just because he's a rabbit. That is a...
I shouldn't have mentioned his name. I should have just asked you what his name was. That's my fault.
We'll see him again this run. I believe he pops up in Luncheon Kingdom. And
yeah, but I already spoiled the name, so I mean...
Well, but here's the thing. I was not listening. So who knows what his name is.
Fair enough, fair enough.
All right, SpeZy teleporting back to the Odyssey for the second time this Wooded Kingdom. Gets back there. Again, both players very close to a perfect sync. Look at this.
Yeah, that's just like 2 frames off, honestly. That's a very close sync. It could even be just like a stream sync change at this point. Luckily, we do have a fantastic stats team working on the event, so, I mean, we saw it yesterday.
Great.
I mean, Ocarina's Drew finishing, like, literally frames ahead of Shadow Gato, and we got the results in, like, 5 minutes, because our stats team is just insane for SMO. It's just crazy. It's a blessing.
Yo, shout out to the stats team. That's some great work. It's hard, it's often thankless, and God bless them for figuring out exactly who is winning these races. All right, these runners, SpeZy and Red Lunatic, both coming up to Cloud Kingdom.
Ooh, the cloud boost from SpeZy just catching up, or pulling ahead a little bit further there.
That'll
Very
give him a
nice
couple seconds.
optimization.
Ooh. Bowser, nice hair under, especially for having worn a hat all day. I'm always impressed with how Bowser's hair looks in these boss fights.
Yeah, he got his hair did.
It's kind of it's like clearly styled, but also loose and floopy. Floopy? Is that a word to describe?
Oh, you just make up words here. It's fine.
Yeah, okay, great. Yeah, very floopy hair. Deeply floopy. Oh, Red Lunatic taking a bit of damage trying to collect that big punching hat. And SpeZy, again, just a couple seconds lead. 5-10 seconds, if that.
Yeah, definitely not even 5. Like, this is what... We'll see the deltas here popping up on the absolutely fantastic stat sheet here shortly. If you want to follow along with the stats of the tournament, do type in SMO B stats in the chat. You can see everybody's PBs, you can see everybody's golds, you can see how they're doing on every individual run, who's getting what tricks. Kind of crazy. But looks like we got about a 2-second lead for SpeZy right now.
Oh boy. And both runners pulling off the meme tree. Collecting that first power moon, slapping a bird with their hat, does SpeZy. Continuing on down this route.
Yeah, Lost is one of my favorite kingdoms. I say it way too often, but I just love this kingdom.
Oh, it's a great one. I would say it looks like a Donkey Kong Country. It's so far as close to a true 3D Donkey Kong Country game as we've gotten. Take that, Donkey Kong 64.
I was gonna say, what about Donkey Kong 64? Everyone's favorite collectathon. Yeah. Don't you love selecting a different character
consider that a video game.
Collecting bananas? Yeah, this is a bit of a chore.
Yeah,
it's
a tough one. I keep thinking about buying a Wii U just to play it.
I liked it growing up, but, you know, the more I think about it, the more I'm like, I never beat that game. Like, I think I got past, like, the first, like, 4 levels, like, unlocked most of the levels. I think I finally unlocked all the levels, but it's one of those games that's just like, unless you treat it like a job, it's like, you're never gonna finish it.
Yeah, no, you've got to be focused. Get Diddy Kong back. He's got all these red bananas sitting around. Oh, SpeZy takes a death. Unclear if it was intentional or not. This is, okay, when we're talking about speedrun tricks that you know intellectually are quicker but seems like they shouldn't, it's just so clean to die there and go back to the Odyssey. It doesn't make sense to me that it's faster to survive.
I think it's pretty intuitive that not dying would be faster, but I think it's more surprising, honestly, that dying is nearly as fast.
Yeah, it feels like you can stop pressing buttons and be where you need to be.
It's definitely the easy way out, I'll say that much.
Yeah. The coward's route, they call it.
Yes.
That's not true.
All right. Anyways, moving on to Night Metro. We got SpeZy heading out here in the rain. There's a giant floating ship above City Hall, which is probably suboptimal. I'm not really sure what that's doing there. But, yeah, you're gonna go take them out. Now that I think about it, you don't really fight any of the Brutals here, which is kind of weird, but...
Yeah. They don't want to get involved in this city's politics.
Yeah, I don't blame them. Metro is probably one of the... Like, when I first heard about, ooh, this game, SpeZy bonking on the Garden Mood, has to take some captures, you know? Impossible to make a mistake in Super Mario Odyssey and not take captures. Very, very necessary. But as I was saying, you know, when I first saw like footage of this game, I was like, what are they doing? Like, is Super Mario gonna become like 3D Sonic games now? Like, are we gonna get like, we gotta get some like really terrible lip syncing? Like, what's happening here? But I really like Metro.
We got really
Metro's
great
fun
lip
kingdom.
syncing.
Yeah, thankfully not a lot of voice acting in these Mario games. It would be strange if they suddenly started treating it like a theatrical movie, but
Yeah.
I mean, we got the
Well, because
Mario movie coming out.
it would be confusing because yeah, Chris Pratt wouldn't be playing Mario, so we'd be like, this doesn't sound like Mario at all.
Oh no, SpeZy.
Oh, SpeZy taking a spill.
Nice backup. Honestly, that's like about as good as a backup can go there.
Yeah, that looked great.
Polls in SMO are not... They're notorious for just being really strange. Like, depending on the poll and where it's at, I mean, some are more infamous than others, specifically in World Peace down in Shiveria. There's some polls where... just grabbing onto poles is just so weird. Like, sometimes you'll magnetize to a pole, sometimes Mario will just dive straight past it. It really depends on Mario's mood.
Red Lunatic taking a slight lead. Both runners now at Mecha Wiggler. Unloading on the guy. Hiding in that corner, tricking the Mecha Wiggler into taking the shortest path. We don't have time for him to run wherever he feels. These runners have more power moons to collect. It also doesn't help that this enemy is trying to kill Mario and sends out a warning laser before he uses his teleportation power.
Yeah, very nice of him. Gotta send out the warning lights. I think this is
both runners getting that 2-cycle.
I honestly can't see a difference. I think it's literally frame tied right now.
Incredible. What a race. Both runners at the same spot. Oh, and SpeZy just barely misses the triple moon. The kind of mistake you'd never notice otherwise, and yet it is what cost him the lead.
Yeah, I've got both timers up, and I'm looking at it like just to make sure that I'm not off in the sync at all, and I cannot tell a difference. I mean, obviously now with SpeZy falling slightly behind there, but I mean, overall, really doesn't make a difference in the end of things.
No, an incredible Mecha Wiggler from both runners. Looking good. Both of them have cleared the skies of the Metro Kingdom. And now, hey, it's time for fun. It's time to see the sights.
Yeah, I mean, we could have fun, or we could perhaps, you know, possess some humans. I mean, what? They're both the same thing, right? Looks like SpeZy's gonna go for the possessionless route. Just both of them going possessionless here. Wow. That's very impressive.
Grabbing that scooter.
So both
Red Lunatic fumbling a little. There he goes. Clips into the cage. Red Lunatic does pick himself up a moon.
Yeah, and I'm pretty impressed. I mean, that was a really nice scoop clip out of SpeZy. It does net him back the lead, which is...
He is.
I mean, I expected to go back and forth here a little bit more, but I mean, a 104 versus a 102, you wouldn't quite expect it to be this back and forth, but Red kind of playing out of his mind right now.
Yeah, this is looking great. And both runners now making a man's life a little bit better. Power of friendship, folks. Listen, we're all speedrunners here. We're all trying to get through games as fast as we can, but it's important to take some time to help your fellow man.
Oh, and SpeZy going for slots here, so I'm going to be going for the bullet building route, whereas the Red Lunatic going to be going for that more traditional musicians route here.
SpeZy trying his luck. Gets it, no problem.
Yeah, fortunate that that is not a luck-based minigame. You can't just do a spin throw at the beginning of the minigame and be A-okay there. SpeZy having some pretty good movement over to the bullet bill room. So far, I'd say SpeZy saving time here with the bullet building route. Very nice. Spin throw at the end as well. Very clean movement from SpeZy. And that's what you need. I mean, if you go for this route, you're trying to trade some optimal movement for some cutscene, you know, consistency, but unfortunately unable. Oh no!
Oh no! Plenty of captures. Gotta remember that to shame himself later.
Looks like, yeah, there was going to be a good time with the vault back up there, but unfortunately a little bit unsure of himself and missing that cap. Needs to keep things under control. I think, I don't know. So the last race we saw from SpeZy the other day, SpeZy kind of had some early game mishaps and, you know, was even thinking about just like forfeiting the race at one point, but I hope you see SpeZy kind of keep things together here. It can be a little bit of an issue younger runners have where, you know, they're not super, I don't know, the mentality just isn't quite there. I mean, if you're in a race and you're making a bunch of mistakes, you're having some troubles, it's really hard for anybody, you know, to really keep themselves together. So we'll see if SpeZy's able to do so.
No, absolutely. One thing I do love about this game is that Mario and the player have a little break in between each kingdom. You ride on the Odyssey, you sit next to your friend Cappy, and you can take a breath. You can get your mind right.
Yeah, I definitely...
Red Lunatic, oh, I love to see that target acquired level butt pound on the roof. That's a bullseye, baby.
Yeah, I think we should definitely start calling this target acquired. I don't think that would conflict with any other strats in the game. Kappa.
I realized that I had just learned the name of that other strat and was like, yeah, we can't call it that.
No, I'm gonna start calling that target acquired from now on.
Bullseye, baby.
No, I'm gonna call it target acquired.
Okay.
I just want to confuse the world.
I'll take it.
Start calling
as
everything target acquired.
As long as I get credit for it. SpeZy now, target acquired in the people's room.
Yeah, insane. Just right onto that moon. Very good. Will Red Lunatic, wow, a target acquired right onto the globe there. That's insane. First try. First try globe.
SpeZy
That's impressive.
Goes to the map, target acquired, back to the Odyssey.
Okay. Looks like Red Lunatic probably going to be, I don't know, my guess would be like 8 seconds ahead at this point.
Here we go.
Red actually ahead of PB here. Red is 3.5 seconds ahead of PB right now.
That's exciting.
Yeah, we gotta start potentially cursing him right now, or at least, you know, like breaking the ice on the curse. You gotta like, it's like saying break a leg, you know, like.
Mm-hmm. You lean into the curse.
Good. Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm. So Red Lunatic confirmed now to PB. Rolling his way through the Snow Kingdom, bouncing around, looking for a friend. Yo ho, anyone here with a power moon in the snow?
And no toad abuse, so that's very good.
Is there a toad abuse strat?
Yeah, if you throw your cap into him or roll into him, he gets really upset and makes a, you know, cringing face.
I am glad neither runner is attempting that strat because poor little boy, he's very cold. He's very scared. This is one of my favorite moments in Mario Odyssey when Toad thinks that he's saved seeing his friend Mario and Mario just turns his back and continues whatever he was doing.
Interesting movement here from SpeZy, trying to go for an up throw there somehow, but does make his way into Shiveria after all. Happiest place on the planet. And yeah, SpeZy, I mean, SpeZy's looking a little bit flustered here. I really want to see SpeZy just kind of like take control back at this point. I mean, we were seeing some pretty dominant gameplay, some pretty clean movement, and you know, once the mistakes start happening, it's hard, but Red Lunatic getting the snow clip here out of bounds. Very nice. The movement is clean, and that'll save some extra time here for Red.
This is some really nice movement from Red in this room. Catching a little block, getting pushed.
Yeah,
by,
that's
Santa Claus, man.
Yeah, that's
these guys are all Santa Claus. Santa Clauses.
Mm-hmm. That's a pretty slick movement, though. It's definitely a little bit harder than it looks. You can do a triple jump there. You can do a spin pound there. There's some variations, but getting blown by the blowy joeys, pretty epic stuff.
This is one of the few puzzles in Mario Odyssey that require you to kill all the enemies, a la certain rooms in Legend of Zelda games.
Yeah, Legend of
Or
Zelda
these-
puzzles are like I would even struggle to call most of them puzzles. Like I know there's one
Solutions.
quote unquote puzzle at the end of Twilight Princess. I finally played through that game a while ago, and you literally just light torches in a certain order, and they like don't tell you what order to do them in. And I spent like 40 minutes like trying to figure this out. Like, oh, there must be something I'm missing. No, you just have to light them in a certain order.
Yeah, just keep trying.
I don't know. I don't think it adds to the gameplay at all. I'm honestly a big hater on Zelda puzzles.
No, yeah, you're right. They can get out of here.
There's only so many times I can light all the torches and consider it a puzzle.
You've lit enough torches for your entire life, I think. It's fair to say.
Yeah. Not going to be seeing ICC out of SpeZy this time around. We are, going to take an unfortunate bonk here at the end of the room, though, and completely destroy the ears of all the viewers, because that's what you do if you mess up in Super Mario Odyssey. But we'll be going for this snazzy backup here. Not losing too much time.
SpeZy's Nintendo Switch, of course, running out of memory with all of the captures being taken.
Yeah.
You hate to see it. Next time he's going to have to download a video game off the eShop. Won't be able to.
Unfortunate moment there for SpeZy, but we will be grabbing the moon in the shop here, heading back to the Odyssey, and we see Red first one to attempt Snow Jam. This can be a nice little equalizer here, so we'll see how long it takes to set up. Will Red Lunatic get it?
He's going for it.
I don't know. The vectoring looked a bit wonky, but it does end up nailing it, so apparently my trick jumping eyes need a little bit of adjustment, but very nice stuff from Red here. Can SpeZy clap back with a first try Snow Jam? Really fast setup here. I don't know. I'm scared. Okay, we made it.
Oh. Both runners almost flush with their jump dives onto that ledge. Both of them looked as though they would failed it, and both got it. Impressive work.
That's kind of how it looks with trick jumps 90% of the time, though. Like anything that's going to be like just barely clearable, it's always going to look that way.
Is there, tell me technically, is there any upward momentum when Mario does a dive forward, or is he moving straight forward in a zip line?
I don't quite understand the question, nor am I qualified to answer that question. But Mario does.
As I was asking it, I realized I was not saying it correctly. I'm wondering if, like, when Mario dives, is he just going forward, or does he get a little hop up in the air to clear some sort of ledges? It looks like Dansta in the chat saying he does move upward.
Yeah, I don't know if we can trust that Dansta guy. I think he's only got like a 58 or something in any percent, which is, you know, top like 8 or something
okay,
like that.
Fair enough. Set the world record and come talk to me, Dansta.
Yeah, I mean, just got a 58 in a reset yesterday. Not a big deal. NBD.
Yeah. Wow. Top 5. Okay. Great.
Oh wow, top 15. That's crazy, Dansta. I'm proud of you. Top 25 in the world. SMO speedrunner. Dansta 2106. Absolutely phenomenal game player.
Love it.
All right. Bullying Dansta aside, we do have a seaside race going on right now. Red back in the lead here. I will have to check the deltas here to see who is actually leading by how much. And it looks like Red is leading by about 16 seconds with that 3 seconds ahead of, or sorry, behind PB right now. So PB still possible for Red. Red is playing for his tournament life right now in the first race of his group stage life. Love the performance out of Red so far.
Yeah, he's looked great. Speeding through a little underwater tunnel as a Cheep Cheep. Collecting a hidden moon.
Yeah, it's amazing with how, like, apparently valuable and useful these moons are that none of the locals have, you know, just collected these moons laying around, just sitting on top of objects.
You know what, Saren? I agree with you in every kingdom except... Or, I'm sorry, I disagree in Cascade Kingdom, because these locals here in Seaside, they don't have an Odyssey to power. So what are they supposed to do with them?
Well, I mean, the moons get used to power the entire city of New Donk, so, I mean, there's probably other uses
That's a great
for
point.
them.
That's a great point.
But
they could be powering their...
Here's one of those clips we were talking about at the beginning of the race, which is fish clip, so one of the few out-of-bounds tricks in the speedrun. Gonna be collecting this out-of-bounds boot here, and then entering a loading zone, which skips a Sphinx dialogue. Normally you have to talk to that Sphinx underwater, answer a question about what city we're in here, which is the, well, I don't know if you call it city, but we are in Bubblaine. But
Bubblaine.
Don't have to talk to the Sphinx, just go ahead and steal his treasure for free.
Yeah. That's how we should treat all Sphinxes. Alright, don't put us through these little tests, alright? We got things to do.
Alright, look, Dansta, dinosaurs are citizens too, okay? Just because they have tiny little arms and they can't grab the power moons doesn't mean they're not citizens.
And therefore can't control the Odyssey, presumably. Unclear how long the levers are for maneuvering. Both runners heading out of Seaside Kingdom. Moving right along in this beautiful little adventure Mario's got. Heading to Luncheon Kingdom.
And I mean, surprise, surprise, Red pulling ahead another 2 seconds here, which is remarkable considering, you know, neither player making any major mistakes, and Red with these, I wouldn't say significantly worse, but I mean, 2 minutes is nothing to laugh at this level. I mean, once you get underneath 105, it becomes incredibly difficult to save any time.
Yeah, truly an impressive performance from Red Lunatic. You're now in Luncheon Kingdom, where the fruit and the vegetables are angular. I'm going to see Red Lunatic here fighting #1 Brutal Pimpsy. That's his name.
That's a very family-friendly name.
Well, it's like it's the name that like a British sophisticate would give his firstborn child. Like, Pimpsy, have you prepared for luncheon?
Yeah, I mean, also known as Spewert, but I mean, what do the game developers know, honestly?
Yeah, they're wrong. Spewert? I'm sorry, his name is Spewert?
Yeah, his name is Spewert because he throws up everywhere. That's his attack.
And you said mine wasn't family friendly? That's disgusting. I'm disgusted by that name.
Hey, we never said it was a family-friendly game, okay? I mean, the Pepto-Bismol, like, lake stuff that's also in the stew in Luncheon Kingdom also seems to come out of the mouth of the cockatiel at the end of the... I don't know. I mean, I didn't make the game. I'm just making observations.
Got a lot of gross out humor in Super Mario Odyssey. A real Adult Swim level Mario game.
Yeah, Miyamoto went off the deep end. Lost control.
Red Lunatic here, making some incredible jumps, getting some power moons up on these hills. This is another section that, like, I kind of don't understand why Mario is allowed to stand on what he's on.
SpeZy needs to just relax here. SpeZy having some troubles making it over to this little mountaintop, but does end up doing so as Red Lunatic breaking the crate. Gonna be grabbing the golden turnip, but with a nice sizable lead here, and SpeZy keeps having these minor movement mess-ups, unfortunately.
It does look like this is going to be a match of inches.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's been very back and forth. Some matches...
Both players playing incredibly well, and it's just these tiny little mistakes that, again, would not make the difference in most runs, but here, as Red Lunatic is having perhaps the run of his life,
yeah,
are going to make the difference.
Some matches will be like, you know, very one-sided. One runner takes the lead and never loses it, but it's always nice to see matches like this where it's like, literally anything could happen at any time. Like, Red Lunatic dies in forks or just falls on forks, and it's SpeZy in the lead again. So, we'll have to see what happens here as Red making his way over to the forks room.
This is one of my favorite rooms to watch.
SpeZy deciding to just skip over the Podobo. Oh
boy.
No, he's dead.
Oh,
SpeZy needs
taking
to
a
just
death.
take a deep breath here. Trying to do too much. I mean, it can be hard once you get behind, especially if you're in a race that you're, you know, projected to win. It can be really mentally defeating to be behind, but at some point you just gotta, you know, you gotta take the punch. You can't just keep, you know, punching yourself as a result of getting punched. And that's kind of what we're seeing here. I mean, SpeZy could have very easily just waited for another Podoboo, captured it, flown over here, and been done with it, but attempting to go for some fancy movement, paying the ultimate price.
Taking another bonk, even just getting back in here. Yeah, you're exactly right. SpeZy needs a deep breath, needs a little bit of meditation. Oh, I do love this room, though. It just looks so smooth.
Oh yeah, when you do Forks Room fast, it's very very hot. But when you do Forks Room wrong, it's a very very far fall. We saw that yesterday.
Hurtful to fall. It's one of those rooms that, again, like, there are hat throws that I'm like, that didn't work, and then they become a fork. SpeZy with a nice climb up to that Power Moon at the top of Luncheon Kingdom. Heading over to collect a chef turtle so that he can break any and all cheeses in his way. God, SpeZy, who is he? Liam, with the way he's defeating cheese. Did that track?
What?
I reached for one. I said, SpeZy, who is he? Liam, with the way he's defeating cheeses.
Oh, dang. Okay, I'm telling cheese.
Okay, you let him know.
Shots have been fired. I mean, Liam technically beating Batora, right? I think cheese is third place now, which is kind of crazy to think
Cheese
about.
third place. Yeah, wild. Lunatic collecting a grand moon. Folks, that's 3 moons in one. Not quite enough to justify. It does feel like, with how many power moons there are, that only 3 for a grand moon is not quite enough to be as celebrated as it is. But who am I? Who am I to say? SpeZy breaking up the salt, finding himself in the soup, and getting a triple moon of his own.
Yeah, we are wrapping up Luncheon Kingdom here for both players, and we will be headed into the Ruined Kingdom, which is everyone's favorite fight. Absolutely just jaw-dropping cinematics.
It is still, like, I can remind myself how I felt the first time I played Ruined Kingdom, and it's still a joy for me. It's still such an insane choice that this game makes.
Yeah, I don't like Ruined Kingdom. I will gladly be the Ruined Kingdom hater in the room.
Fair enough. Ruined Kingdom does feel like a good time to talk about the sponsor, maybe. Do you want to maybe say something about United Artists Partnership?
That was close to the sponsor, but yeah, this is the Urban Arts
I realized I
Partnership.
didn't. Urban Arts Partnership. It's in the corner. I felt myself on a ledge as I was saying it. The Urban Arts Partnership.
Yeah, we've gotten some interesting sponsor plugs. We've shouted out the United Air Partnership and some other interesting things, but the Urban Arts Partnership is, in fact, the ones that are sponsoring this tournament, throwing up a whopping $1,250 of prize pool money, and besides that, doing a lot of good in the world. So what they do is basically, there's, a lot of kids in the U.S. that unfortunately aren't able to go to college. They don't have the funds. They might be in a community where it's a lot harder for kids to go to school, but what Urban Arts does is they find these communities, they find these kids, and specifically the ones that are interested in tech fields, specifically game design. They give them the skills they need, have an on-site location, teach them the skills, they give them the things they need as well, like the actual monetary, physical things, whether it be equipment, whether it be scholarships, and sending them to school. So it's a very cool program. If you want to learn more about it, do check out the link. We will be fundraising for them over the course of the month. We're planning a lot of fun fundraisers, including obviously the finals for these tournaments, so keep a lookout for those. They should be a lot of fun.
Absolutely. A great cause. Great thing being done.
Yeah, I love UAP. I mean, it might sound like I'm reading off a sponsor plug, which I kind of am, but I mean, I do really like what UAP is doing. I mean,
yeah, no,
basically what they're trying to do is just, get a foothold in the world of, gaming on Twitch, because not a lot of people know about UAP, and it's kind of a shame because what they're doing is pretty fantastic.
Yeah. Red Lunatic finishing off this hyper-realistic dragon that Mario has no business fighting, let's be honest.
I mean, can there really be a realistic dragon? Okay, I mean, I don't want to crush anybody's dreams, but dragons are not real. I'm just going to say it.
Dragon's inherently unrealistic, you're not wrong. But this one has perhaps more rendering detail than is necessary. SpeZy as well, taking down a giant, scaly dragon man with butt stomps to the brain.
Yes, indeed. For all of you that are on the Red Lunatic PB hype train, we do have a slight time save in Ruin. We lost some time in Luncheon. We were at plus 12 out of Luncheon, but now we are down to plus 8 out of Ruin. So we're saving the time. I'm not sure how the PB stacks up against other runs in Bunny's Mech and Moon, but we will see what happens as we land in Bowser's Kingdom here. Kind of a tricky kingdom. I mean, there's a lot of things to think about when you're in this kingdom. There's a lot of strat variants, as well as obviously the mech fight, which is kind of a big deal. Mech fight can win or lose matches quite easily.
Very much feels like the inflection point of every race. It can come down. That's the final opportunity for whichever runner is not in the lead to, maybe not the final opportunity, certainly, but one of the big chances to pull up ahead towards the end of the race.
Yeah, it's always touted as, you know, the biggest opportunity for mess-ups to cause a loss, but I mean, we've seen over the last couple of days that when you're in a run, I mean, it all comes down to 2D skip at the very end of the day. If you can't do 2D skip on pace when you're about to win a race, it's like, it's a nerve-wracking trick. It's not that hard. I mean, runners start doing it typically like around 110 even, but like, man, it's tricky.
Does feel like a purely nerves-based trick. It's one of those tricks that I always watch and I'm like, oh yeah, I could do that. But at the end of a run, when you're potentially on PB pace, absolutely not. I have to go home.
We do have
time to be scared.
We do have a very important poll going on in the chat. If you want to show off whether or not dragons are real, definitely vote in that. Very important. It's what all the gamers are worried about right now.
All right, I placed my vote, and I won't say which I voted for. That's my right as an American.
No, you're thinking about pods, Twisted. Shouts to Pods Dragon.
Red Lunatic collecting a number of moon coins. Aim to collect that power moon. Greater than the sum of its parts.
Dancer, you're not supposed to announce you're rigging the poll. We're supposed to just pretend like it's fair.
I need this poll to be honest.
Yeah, we're gonna have to do an audit here. Oh my gosh, what?
Wow, SpeZy!
SpeZy is
incredible!
SpeZy is actually cracked. I remember when I first saw SpeZy playing in a tournament, I wasn't sure what to expect. I think he was on a webcam at the time, and dude's just nuts. Dude knows some fast Mario movements.
Unbelievable.
And really good at making those on-the-fly adjustments. I mean, wiggling the controller there to save himself was pretty smart.
That Pokio was off the ledge, falling to its doom, and somehow SpeZy wiggled the controller just right to get him to pop back up to safety. Incredible.
Yeah. I was sure that SpeZy was going to die or have to uncapture there, but SpeZy proved me wrong.
Red Lunatic just defeating Captain O'Malley, one of the top brutals of the Brutal Army.
That's definitely one of the things that I really appreciate about the Super Mario Odyssey community is that they have this whole like community BTT thing where not only do, you know, they obviously grind for fastest theoretical times and stages and certain movements, they also like, it's almost like a community-wide challenge, and they make big compilations like once a year, like a couple times a year. I'm not sure exactly the frequency of it, but basically they go around the community, they're like, alright, who has the fastest time in this, who has the fastest time in this, and they splice literally everything together, like even the smallest segments, just like one pipe into grabbing a moon, or grabbing a moon to capturing something, or They splice all these different segments, and basically whoever, you know, has the fastest segment gets into the BTT, and they show it off in a big reveal stream. It's pretty cool, and it definitely encourages a lot of runners of all skill levels to optimize their movements.
No, very cool. It sounds like a video where you get to just watch the sum of best.
Yeah, it's basically
but of the entire community.
Yeah, it's really cool. I don't
very cool.
see a lot of communities doing that, if any. I honestly can't think of any other community that does that. Definitely a very cool and epic feature of SMO.
SpeZy giving Captain O'Malley a real headache. Oh, Red Lunatic did not look like he was going to make those boxes get out of his way. Does at the last minute, destroyed every last one of them.
Yeah, and I'm going to have to say I'm back on the Red Lunatic hype train. I'm looking at the stat sheet. I'm seeing green. We are -4 out of bunnies. This is the gamer zone.
Exciting.
Red Lunatic is inside the gamer zone. Just want to let everybody know.
Welcome to the gamer zone. Did you ever have a birthday party at Gamer Zone? I did, and we went down the slides. All my friends had a great time.
What on earth is Gamer Zone? Is that a real place?
I think it was actually called Discovery Zone.
Oh.
Was the bit I was doing, but
yeah,
maybe that's not a thing that people ever did in their childhood anymore.
Yeah, I don't know. I've never heard of that.
It was real fun. It was like you had a ball pit.
Ball pits are disgusting. I even as a kid, I didn't like ball pits. Like, what is this? Like, I'm gonna go jump into a tub of plastic. Oh joy. Very cool.
Red Lunatic looking good, getting on top of this Mecha Brutal. It is important to remember that all the Brutals in this robot are having a pizza party. They earned it for doing well in their school's magazine drive.
We're just gonna break up their pizza party? That's kind of screwed up.
Oh, without a doubt, Mario is the villain of Super Mario Odyssey.
He's breaking up pizza parties, he's breaking up weddings, he's possessing humans.
He skipped the Sphinx's riddle, which is the guy's whole deal.
Yeah. Not only did he not do the riddle puzzle, he also just completely steals all his goods, but Red with a very nice job dealing with the Mecha Brutal there. Gotta be maintaining that lead and the PB potential here, I would imagine, exiting Bowser's Kingdom. Have to see what that split delta is.
Mecha Brutals embarrassingly had a fireworks display ready to go for when they killed Mario that accidentally went off when they were defeated.
Yeah, definitely an interesting end to the mech fight for sure.
But yeah, Red Lunatic playing like a lunatic right now, destroying the Mecha Brutal. All the Brutals teamed up to stop him from getting a PB, and he said, no, not today. SpeZy now grabbing that triple moon as well. Certainly within striking distance of Red Lunatic. You have to imagine that a major mistake could still get SpeZy the lead, but we are all aboard this PB hype train. We want to see Red Lunatic beat Mario Odyssey faster than he ever has in his entire life.
Oh yeah. So it looks like Red Lunatic is -24 out of bunnies out of Bowser's right now. So heading into mood with a hefty lead over PB. I would expect that Red is going to put his all into this one, obviously. I mean, we've been seeing it all day long with this run. It's been kind of crazy. Red's just been playing with his life right now.
Even I'm tense. Like, I'm not playing, and I need to take a nap.
Yeah, probably not the best option for Red Lunatic right now. Probably wants to keep both hands on the controller and both eyes on the screen, but I mean, to each their own when it comes to playing video games, you know, different strategies.
To be fair, my commentary should not be taken as Mario Odyssey advice. This is probably not the move. Red Lunatic triple jumping. Mario looking decked out. These are his PB duds. Rolling through the Moon Kingdom. Dodging, spiking, roly balls. taking a fire flower, strapping it to his back.
Yeah, those
Red
rockets.
Lunatic coming up to Moon Skip, which I erroneously called Moon Clip last route. Oh.
Okay, gonna be going for it with a bit of a weird ground pound. This should work. I think this should work. No.
Couldn't get the second wall pound.
All right.
By wall pound, I mean wall jump.
This is unfortunate here. We will see what happens. SpeZy right close behind Red. He needs to get this one and does end up doing it. PB on the line, but also the race on the line is SpeZy coming up right behind Red here. Can we get a solid mooncave skip from him? Looks like it's going to be good. Although I said that about Red's first one, so don't really listen to what I have to say, to be quite honest. But SpeZy taking a nice angle there, taking it safe near the end. And right behind Red at this point. Unfortunate that Red had those issues on the mooncave skip, but I think we're still possible for PB here.
He did have a substantial advantage going in, 24 seconds down. So some of that cut into by missing mooncave skip, but not all is lost. Here we see Bowser on the attack, becoming the world's most devastating clock hand.
Red flexing a little bit there on the Bowser fight, just rolling over the fire. An interesting decision.
This man is not concerned about what Bowser has to say. Oh, you got a tailspin for me? Guess what? I've got a jump for you.
You know, SpeZy with a pretty solid Bowser fight as well. Red opting to go for these rolls as well on the second phase here of the fire.
That fire spin from Bowser, not a huge return on investment in terms of the amount of time you're putting into attacks and the amount of damage you are actually inflicting upon Mario. What do you think poor Bowser feels about speedruns? Like, in Bowser's head, he just fought Mario in Cloud Kingdom like 15 minutes ago. He's like, how are you here already? Red Lunatic shooting fireballs, looking to progress through this moon cave as things fall apart all around him. SpeZy hot on his tail, just taking possession of Bowser now. Here he goes, Red Lunatic. Jumping. Like only Mario can. In a Bowser body. Creating bridges of his own.
Yeah, and I'm not going to say anything about this section coming up because it does not exist. Red Lunatic just going to head straight into pillars here. There's nothing to see. Everyone close their eyes. Okay, thank you.
Okay,
all right,
okay.
Now we can talk about it. So we're in the 2D section, which is impossible to fail at this point, I sure hope. SpeZy, on the other hand, just behind. Not in any sort of section. Okay, in the 2D section, very nice.
Makes the 2D skip as well. Both runners getting through that 2D section. Red Lunatic, a slight bop of the head as he tried to make that 2D skip hop, but ends up pulling through, does not take any sort of damage. And now it is time for some anime rock and roll.
Yeah, we are in the pillar sequence here for Red Lunatic. Potentially on a PB pace here. Needs to have a really sick pillars at this point, though. SpeZy really close behind. It's going to be down to the wire. Oh, and unfortunately, not grabbing that swipe there. Probably going to be calling off the PB, but it's really too close to call. SpeZy's shots pretty well on target there. Getting the early pillar there, but also getting tripped up on the rocks. Got to be really close here. Down to the final moments as Red Lunatic on the final pillar. Can we get a PB? I'm not sure. Very, very close at this point. We got about 20 seconds left to go. Red Lunatic. Will we see a PB here?
Here he goes. He's swiping at that final box. The light's pushing its way out.
Yeah, and that is going to be a pretty sick PB here in a tournament race for Red Lunatic.
Yeah. Red Lunatic, my man.
Co-commentator getting pretty hyped up. You love to see it.
This is exciting. That's faster than he has ever beaten Super Mario Odyssey before. That is the fastest time Red Lunatic has ever beaten Super Mario Odyssey. That's incredible.
Yeah, pretty fantastic.
11 seconds. 11 seconds gone. Wow.
Yeah, we are seeing history here in the making. Red Lunatic playing out of his mind. SpeZy almost catching up right at the end there, but unfortunately unable to clutch things out. A few too many bonks, a few too many trips. But that's how it is. SpeZy doing pretty good in the tournament so far, so you can't really fault him.
Absolutely. What a race. I mean, SpeZy just a minute and a half away from his PB himself. Like, this was an incredible race. They came to a couple of points throughout where they were 100% synced up, and now both finishing within 10 seconds of each other. Red Lunatic went in under his personal best. Incredible race.
Yeah, I mean, I just looked at the standings again. I forgot that SpeZy dropped the first match versus Zach in the box, unfortunately. So SpeZy dropping down to 0-2 in the groups, but still putting on a good show for the fans. We will see if we can get them in for interviews here.
Playing very well. I think the difference was, like we were saying throughout, those tiny little bonks, those tiny little unoptimizations were the difference. It was a 10-second difference between these two racers. Fireworks are gonna start. That, of course, a reference to the Brutals. When they shot off their fireworks load despite being defeated.
Yes,
it's
indeed.
Always very funny to me when they have fireworks of their own faces when they die.
Yeah,
wow,
just
good game to
pinging
both
the
runners.
racers here,
Incredible.
seeing if we can get them in to chat a little bit about it. Hopefully we can especially get Red in here to talk about his PB.
Yeah.
Pretty phenomenal stuff. Looks like we will have Red joining us in the commentary booth. Red, you got a PB in a tournament race. You came away with the win. How are you feeling right now?
Well, I'm really surprised. That late game was kind of insane for me.
Yeah, I mean, you had some troubles with the Mooncave skip, but I mean, other than that, I mean, the Bowser's Kingdom specifically was pretty hot.
Yeah.
Red, was there a moment when you realized you were on pace for PB, and how did you feel in that moment?
Towards right after I beat Mech, I was like, wait, can this PB? And I was like, I don't know, I was just surprised.
Yeah, we were definitely
happy
hyping
it
it up.
happened.
Definitely hyping it up pretty much the whole time. Been staring at that stat sheet, looking at your time. It was like you're like +3, +4, +2, and then all of a sudden you're like -25. We're like, oh, it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, truly exciting to see it happen. Was there a moment in this run, Red, where you maybe felt like, all right, I did it. I got this moon. I feel like a champion right now. Anytime when you were feeling really good about yourself?
After Metro was really good. I'm happy with it.
That was a great Metro. Absolutely.
All right, we got SpeZy in here too. SpeZy, he had some rough times near the middle of the run, almost clutched it out near the end, able to catch up to Red, but unfortunately unable to close it out. How do you feel about your run overall?
I thought the start of my run was very bad, and I picked it up near the end. I'm really hoping that the dropped input I got in Snow didn't lose me the race, otherwise I'll be very sorry, but it is what it is. Yeah, he played really well in the late game, I just couldn't catch up, even with my best RBM, so it is what it is.
Oh, GG.
GG.
Yeah.
SpeZy, it did look like in the beginning of the race, a couple little mistakes that started to snowball, and then you started to get your mind right. It felt like you were really picked it up. Did you do anything specific to help yourself get back into the right headspace to finish up the race strong?
Something I do in races is I'll say out loud what I'm gonna do after every single moon. And everything kind of just started to go wrong in Metro. Night Metro kind of went wrong. I don't remember. I think it was the tower. I think I fell down after getting Gumahek. Funny name. And then I messed up in bullet building as well. And then that kind of just killed it. And I played well for the rest other than Snow, but it just didn't work out after luncheon.
I do like that idea as kind of a way to center yourself, kind of a way to remind yourself, this is the next thing I'm doing, a way to let go of what may have happened before.
Yeah, I just know a lot of different strats, so I have to say out loud which strat I'm gonna do because there's lots of different stuff I know, and I have to say the safest one and the one that's gonna give me the highest chance of winning, I suppose. But
Yeah.
fortunately, that didn't work. I think I can still make it through to the next round. If I win the next one, then 3 people get 1 win, and then 1 person gets 3 wins. But that's probably unlikely. But we'll see, I guess.
Yeah, it is still possible. It is possible there's a tie, but we'll have to see what happens. You're gonna be playing up against Wuxwu next. How you feeling about that matchup?
Well, given that I've lost, well, statistically the 2 easiest matchups, I'm not incredibly confident, but I didn't practice a lot for this one. I was honestly quite confident going in. I was just like, I can get a mid 104, he'll get like a 106, but then obviously he got a PB, so that kind of ruined it. But yeah, I'm definitely gonna practice a ton for the next match, and hopefully I can get a new PB before then, because I haven't PB'd in 2 months. And yeah, we'll see how that goes, I suppose. But
Yeah, sounds good. I mean, Red, you got 2 more matches coming up. You won your first matchup. You worried about playing Wuxwu or Zach, or are you pretty confident with your next 2 races?
I think Zach I have a chance. Wuxwu definitely not.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't
Wuxwu
undersell
seems really
yourself.
good.
I mean, you just PB'd in a race. I think there's definitely some potential for even lower PB. So I think you should definitely keep your chin up. And yeah, I mean, you're coming off of a win, so definitely keep your head in it. But we will be going to a break here for now. We have some more matches coming up. Actually, it's just one more match for today. We got Ryler versus Mr. McPhee, so do stick around. Gonna be coming up in about 10 minutes again, so do hang out. We'll be right back.